I wanted to create a mythical adventure story, but more than that, I wanted to create a story where the connection between the characters was very strong and at the forefront. So when creating Paladin, I went out and sought as much information as I could when it comes to creating a web series, and like all the rules are like, make it 5 to 10 minutes, make it as cheap as possible, essentially no budget, don't do period piece, don't do costumes, and I broke every single rule when it came to that. After I solidified the script, we started moving into pre-production.
It's always super cool to work with this crew and to see their passion and their fire like right on set just makes you just as fired up to do what you love to do.
Working with everybody on set, it's a nightmare. Colin, Patrick, Janet, everybody, man, Ricky, don't even get me, everybody's really tough to work with, really miserable, horrible people. You don't want to spend even a second with these people, I'm telling you.
So we've kind of gelled as a family before, but this team is just great. We've got some unbelievably talented people.
I mean, and everyone was committed, to making the best thing that we could. Everyone was committed to the project, and so that was very gratifying to be a part of.
And during that time, I was talking to my crew, specifically my art department, on what we wanted to see in the pilot episode.
So essentially, the art department is Colin's paintbrush, in a sense. He has this masterpiece that he envisions in his head, and it's our job to bring it from concept to creation.
The pre-production for the art department was a lot of reference pictures, just trying to figure out what we want everything to look like.
So once we kind of got an idea of like, hey, how is this world going to look? How are things going to function? That was then immediately going into the design process.
I think the thought that went into the production design sets it apart.
My art team created things that I didn't think were going to be possible on this web series. When I gave them an idea, they took it and went farther than I was expecting.
Me and Colin went out to get the storyboard, and we just went to some open park. I had my little Canon camera, and we just started taking pictures of generally what we want the shots to look like. It gave us a much clearer idea of what we want everything to look like going into the actual shoot days.
Toward the end of the summer, we had the ball rolling on art department, on locations, on storyboards. Around that same time, we were casting and looking at who could potentially play the characters for our web series.
I saw the ad on Facebook, and I've always wanted to do a medieval fantasy type series, and this was like, hit on the mark,
I think one of the funny things was when we did the first cast read through, we were all out in a public park, and we were all putting on like these terrifying pieces of armor and costumes and stuff like that. And meanwhile, there's just regular people walking by, and they're seeing us all wearing like full black suits of armor and sword fighting, and thinking we must be crazy or doing some kind of like LARP event. But
first read through and everything, I was like, damn, this is cool. This is something. First getting to meet each other, and that first round of energy being passed around, which was really cool.
In terms of the pre-production planning, we had a lot of time to go over the script, get into character, really kind of think about the different ideas that we were going to go forward with the character, and different voices and how he was going to sound and move and act and all that kind of stuff.
And then we finally got to the first day of shooting, and I cannot describe how anxious I was the first morning of shooting. I was so excited, and I was so nervous, and getting on set with everybody and having everyone there and shooting those first couple of scenes, my heart was pounding out of my chest.
We were, like a ragtag team of rebels out in the woods, hauling all this camera gear through these trails that we, I think, ourselves just blazed, It
was a great, beautiful location. There was a lot of running through leaves and crossing my fingers that I would not twist an ankle.
It's also my first time working in a green screen room, which was really weird because I wasn't used to not having like more of an environment to work in. But after kind of getting onto the green screen and getting into that, headspace of thinking everything over and thinking about like, imagining the environment I'm in, imagining like the setting and the mood and everything like that, it wasn't nearly as difficult as transition as I thought it would be, and I really enjoyed it.
The day we shot that final scene with the fight and everything, that was a great moment for me because we had everyone on set and everyone was collaborating very well, which I like to see. And that amps me up as an actor to see all the crew being able to collaborate with each other, and everyone can say, oh, what if we do this? Oh, this would be cool too. And so that was great to see. I love to see the collaboration of artists in that regard. That was a really magic moment for me.
And Colin's direction was rock steady and solid, and it kept things on time and at a good steady pace, and it helped the actors feel comfortable. It made everybody feel comfortable.
Yeah, COVID was the biggest obstacle to kind of work around on this project.
So that was really the big thing, because normally it's like, okay, I would go over Janet's house and we would like get a pizza and just work, or I'd go over at Patrick's house, or I'd go, and that was really the thing that sucked, because like I just couldn't be around people like I wanted to.
I think I gotta say, at first I was a little bit unsure with everything going on because lockdown and everything, and it's definitely a weird time for filming, but everything was handled super professionally and safely. I think everyone made it super healthy and safe on set, which I think was awesome.
After getting everything shot, it was on to post-production. Our composer, Avery Munger, did an amazing job on the soundtrack. It's,
notating on paper or notating on the computer and just writing down some themes and chords, basic structures to kind of help develop the sonic world that this whole film or TV show or web series in this case is taking place in.
The first time I heard like the Paladin theme, it kind of overwhelmed me, and I started tearing up a little bit, and that just shows how much this project meant to me, and how much the music meant to me, and how much everything that had led to this moment of completing the project, it really hit me.
I think that what makes Paladin great is just all these multi-layered ideas that come together to create something that is pure fantasy.
I think a lot of the medieval elements that are there have been proven to be successful, but I think Paladin does a few essential things that changes the formula and that creates a more interesting story. I love the Brotherhood dynamic. That's one of my favorite parts about it. I mean, it's in the title, but I love the two brothers together. I think that's a really interesting thing.
The costuming is fantastic. The props are fantastic. The directing is fantastic. There's really cool fight scenes, sword fights in it. There's action. There's bromance, I guess.
At the heart of it all, there's this story about two brothers, and there's mystery, there's intrigue, it's a clash between good and evil.
There's just so much in terms of like the story and the characters that's like very unique from other web series in the same genre.
I've gotten little tidbits of where things are going, but I'm still in the dark, which is I like. But I am excited to see Jace's character arc, how he will develop and grow as a person.
I don't know where the show is going exactly, but it would seem to be something that is very defined in terms of good and evil. And I think that that's something, but with hope involved. And I think that's something that people need today. It's something people could use. We're living in a world that doesn't have a whole lot of trust. And I think to have good and evil be defined, and with heroes and villains, and a story of adventure and intrigue, I think it's important, and the show's got it.